The Fearless Podcast, in a time of deceit, telling the truth, is a revolutionary act. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Fearless Podcast. This is episode 62.
Episode 62. Good to be here in the new podcast setup.
I have my faithful sidekick, Matt, is back in the helm. As you can see, we've been a little missing in action.
Yeah. Taking it easy.
Yeah. We've been relaxing and
Yep.
vacating and all those other things that aren't happening right now. But it's that time of year and it's busy. So we're trying to get it in.
Yeah. We had some family come down for the week and we were like, we're just going to chill out and soak it all in and swim in the pool and do all that type of fun stuff.
Take it easy.
Yeah, we had a couple jobs to do, but other than that, it was pretty chill. And then it's probably been the craziest week out of the year, quite literally, with all the news that's been going on and everything like that.
Yeah, and I wanted to cover a topic, but then something happened, and I figured since we had the time on the schedule to do the podcast, the first thing I thought we could talk about was the assassination attempt. And I know everybody's talking about it, and we just kind of wanted to chime in with our 2 cents.
Yeah.
And
I always like hearing other people's opinions on the situation, you know.
And when it happened, we don't watch TV or mainstream news or anything.
No.
When it happened, a buddy of mine texted me, and I forget exactly how the text went. It was peculiar. It was a little bit incoherent. Billy, you send incoherent text messages because Billy's probably listening. But so it's just said, well, looks like someone took a shot at Trump in his ear. So then I'm like,
took a photo of his ear.
Did they whisper in his ear? Because usually when somebody takes a literal shot in your ear, it means you're dead.
Yeah.
Now, we understand now what has happened.
Sure.
And, immediately there's an inordinate amount of disinformation. There's always
it was incredible.
Multiple information.
Incredible amount of disinformation. It was like, shoo.
And we know from all of these other events, and whether they were natural events or orchestrated events, even when these events can partially be natural and partially orchestrated or whatever have you. I realize there's an enormous amount of conspiracy theory around this. And all I said when we started talking about it as a family, I said, this time there is going to be so much video evidence of what happened. You really just need to wait about 3 or 4 days. And there's going to be so much.
Everybody was filming.
Yeah, there's going to be so much video evidence.
Yeah,
and then there's a lot of peripheral stuff that kind of speaks to society and different things. I think that we could talk about. That's very interesting, to say the least. But I don't think I have to break down what happened. I think everybody's aware.
There's plenty of other people that have been doing that.
Yeah, there was Trump held a rally in Pennsylvania, and there was an assassination attempt. And of course, it was a lone gunman with a first, middle, and last name. And so there's lots of overlap there with MK Ultra and all that stuff. And then this guy kind of has like a track record. And of course, he was on the radar. And they knew about him. And then as things advance and more information comes out, now we know even potentially that we know that the authorities were notified he was on the roof at least 3 minutes before he shot. We know that the Secret Service snipers had a beat on him before he shot. There's massive discrepancy in the shot count. Because there's potentially 8 or 9 shots. And it clearly appears from the footage that the Secret Service sniper only fired 1 shot. That's what it looks like. And then which round they're attributing that in that sequence of events. There's just an inordinate amount of incredibly.
Then you have the water tower and supposedly somebody being on the water tower and all types of weird stuff.
Yeah.
All types of crazy stuff.
Yeah. So, and so whenever there's an event, we know for a fact, what's the quote from the previous CIA director, we will know that our disinformation is working when everything that the American citizen believes is a lie.
Yeah.
That's why they immediately flood all of the information outlets with misinformation, disinformation, and then there's just human error with people that misremember or see things wrong or hear things wrong, and then they repeat it.
Yeah, but the mainstream media, like instantly, like CNN, like instantly
was
like,
crazy.
Oh yeah, Trump just fell down. Like, what do you mean he just fell down? We all watched it live. Like, he obviously got shot at. You hear these bangs, and then they're gonna like try to act like all this other stuff, like the teleprompter or something got shot, exploded, and then glass cut his ear.
And then there's a whole opposite side of that
all
spectrum
types of crazy stuff
where it's all completely false and it's all fabricated and it's all this totally false flag and nobody really died and nobody really got hurt. And that happens every time too. Yeah. And there's a lot of that going on. And then there's a lot of people that are just sending out stuff that's unverified and it's complete misinfo, disinfo.
Yeah.
So as a and I'm old enough to I do remember that was in my childhood. I do remember the Reagan assassination attempt. And interestingly enough, y'all, that guy is on YouTube and has a YouTube channel, and he plays acoustical folk guitar on YouTube. Just something to think about as we think about mental illness and all these different things. Was that John Hinckley Jr., if memory serves me correctly? And now that I'm carnivore and the mental fog is gone, I'm pretty sure it was John Hinckley Jr. And I'm also pretty sure that you can search YouTube and find John Hinckley Jr.'s YouTube channel. And he plays, I think it's folk acoustic guitar. And that's fascinating. And there's an inordinate amount of information about all of that and how that went down. And it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, the whole thing is very interesting because, we always try to question everything to an extent, but if it was a setup, there's so many like crazy things if it wasn't a setup, right? Let's just come from that point of view, right? It's not a setup at all, which it totally could not be a setup or whatever. Is okay. Trump gets shot at, he falls to the ground, and then all of his bodyguards there trying to cover him up, except for a couple of the chicks. They can't even put their guns away or whatever.
Hey, easy.
So
you
anyway,
male chauvinist pig.
So anyway, and then when he shows back up, he has all males, which is kind of awesome. All male bodyguards, which is kind of hilarious. But anyway, so when you go back up for the photo op, why there's this weird photo op which is kind of fishy, but whatever. We don't, even though they yell, shoot her down, you don't know if it is in real life. Like you were saying, they don't just send one assassin. Well, they always send at least two.
And protocol is never assume.
Yeah.
You always assume that there's more than one shooter. You always assume that there's multiple shooters. I mean,
so to instantly stand back up relatively within a couple seconds and then to fully expose your head is like
3 times
foolish.
It's very, and and we can explain that away to, adrenaline and all these different things. And I realize it can be explained away. It still doesn't make me want to buy into it.
Yeah. It's very interesting at the least.
Yeah. And it, and the other thing that I can't wrap my head around is this, they're playing this dialectic game, this left-right thing about Trump's regime requested more Secret Service from DHS because all of these different people like Tucker Carlson, like Alex Jones, and you hear in all these interviews, and they have been predicting that there would be assassination attempts on Trump's life. And then there was this New Ager prophet guy that literally supposedly prophesied, and I listened to it, that Trump
Sure.
would get shot in the ear and all this stuff. Now, you could look at that two different ways. I mean, now if somebody that wants to fabricate an event heard that, they would say, hey, this is the way the event should look, and I realize that's really deep conspiratorial stuff.
Mhm.
And you don't even have to go there. Here's my point. They're requesting additional Secret Service.
Mhm.
It got denied, right? And you know that there's issues, obviously, with the Secret Service. There have been issues with the Secret Service. You know that there are issues with all of the alphabet agencies. So why would not Trump, who is an incredible genius, we're supposed to chalk this all up to either blatant negligence or crony politics, or the red and blue divide, and it's just two political factions infighting, and this is a tit for tat thing. So it's either they're really stupid
Mhm.
or they're stupid on purpose. But when you're really smart like Trump and you're really wealthy, why wouldn't you, just as a smart billionaire, you could easily bake into your security infrastructure a lead guy? Hey, this is my chief of security. You have to, he's going to recon you guys. He's going to talk about whatever the sit rep is, or, you can throw out all your military jargon for whatever. Okay. And if he had a go-to operations guy,
Mhm.
I mean, everybody and their mom would have had somebody on that roof, and everybody and their mom would have had somebody on every roof there,
Mhm.
even the roofs outside of that circle radius, because
Of course.
even the roofs outside of that circle radius had optimal
Oh yeah.
line of sight.
Yep.
And also, I mean, talented snipers can shoot things from
Really far away.
incredibly far away.
Incredibly far away.
So, there's so many more questions
Mhm.
than there are answers. And the hardest part that I'm wrapping my head around, I can clearly see I can see an MK Ultra Patsy guy who's
Sure.
mentally unstable, and they already know about him, and
Mhm.
he's in the right place at the right time, and somebody sets a ladder there. And even though all these people watch him climb up there and tell the authorities and all this stuff, and okay, it's a comedy of errors and it's not funny.
No.
Okay. And so this supposedly happens, but then you have the sniper with a bead on him that doesn't shoot. And so many people now, they want to discount all this. Well, you don't understand. I mean, put yourself in the sniper's shoes. Let's say you were the Secret Service sniper. No, there's a reason that you practice drill and muscle memory. And it's because you're never supposed to trust anything except your reflexes. You have an order, engage target, drop them. That's your order. Your order is protect the president.
Yeah.
So that means engage target, drop the target, cease the target, right?
When there's people, oh, he has a gun, he's on the roof for several minutes straight, there's no excuses of, oh, well, they might have thought he was a photographer or something crawling around on the roof. I'm like, no,
there's protocol. You don't get to do, first off, the perimeter secured. And this is there's way too many coincidences and conveniences.
Way too many.
And unfortunately, in my opinion, if you're Trump and you're smart, which he is incredibly smart, I'm not knocking the guy, but anybody that's as smart as him and as wealthy as him would be looking to at least keep themselves alive, supposedly to just make America great again, right? I mean,
Correct.
you can't do what you're telling everybody you're going to do if you're dead.
Yeah.
And, just because politically your political opponent won't, okay, first off, okay, Donald Trump, and he's a deal maker, and if I would have talked to him, it would have been great, and it would have been tremendous and bigly, right? So like, okay, you asked DHS for more Secret Service. They didn't give it to you. So what's your solution? Well, I'll take a bullet to the head.
Yeah.
Like
no.
that's your solution. No,
he's not that stupid.
Yeah. So,
Like,
and so I'm not saying I'm not saying that the whole thing was a setup, but what I'm having an incredible time justifying in my own head that he allowed that scenario to play out. He's way too smart of a guy. And, and maybe we will see different adjustments and maybe it won't quite kind of be that way. But you can't have guys like Dan Bongino said, oh no, they had requested this so many times and they were denied. Okay, well, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
And if you're going to like fix everything and make everything great and find solutions and broker deals and work this kind of stuff out, why didn't you come up with an alternative solution that involved you securing your area so that no one would have the opportunity to miss your head?
Correct.
And hit you in the ear. And, and I realized the whole thing, like, you get up and fight. Somebody just tried to kill me. And so now I'm ticked and I'm going to do all this stuff, but I'm just having a really bigly challenge trying to reconcile the fact that and this is what makes the R&D thing so dumb, because they'll do this stuff. Well, they wouldn't give us the extra security. Okay, well, you're a billionaire and you have private security and you have Blackwater. And I didn't get to listen to Eric Prince spin on the whole thing. Whoever Eric Prince was on somewhere, Tucker or Redacted or something. And, but like, it's all going to be spin because he has his own money and he would want to stay alive. And I think everybody would appreciate the fact that he doesn't want to be killed or assassinated. And at a minimum, I realize there's protocols. I realize there's multiple people involved, and I realize there's a chain of command. And well, listen, Secret Service has the pole position, and then everybody has to answer to them. I get all that. But as a thinking brain, billionaire, very smart guy, you can put checks and balances in place to at least eliminate 99 of 100 factors of what happened.
Yeah.
Because every person that looked at this scenario said, how could this have happened?
Well, I just remembered now, there was this lady at the Trump rally and they interviewed her or whatever. And she said, she had to protect her mom. She got her mom down on the floor. It was like, don't stand up because we don't know if this guy has a machine gun, which is actually very interesting what she said next. And she said, because if he literally could, if he did have a machine gun, we would have all he could have got a lot of us, which is very true too. That's just another thing. Like if somebody just wanted to go and literally shoot hundreds of people, it would have been very, very easy.
Yeah. And so now this speaks to the cultural.
So there's multiple things. It's not just killing the president, but also a liability for everybody else that's there too.
And it speaks to the cultural commentary that I took away from this. That's hard to, and here's another thing that's very hard to calculate. So we hear gunshots. Okay. So supposedly maybe some people thought they were fireworks, right? So first off, you have many people in the crowd saying, hey, there's a guy on that roof with a gun. This venue wasn't that big. Okay. You have lots of people on audio and video. Hey, there's a guy on the roof with a gun, and then pop, pop. And then in addition to pop, 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 people get hit with bullets. People get hit in the head with bullets. Brains go flying. Tragic. This man protected his family. He covered his family. And he paid the ultimate price with his life, protecting his family. This man's a absolute role model and hero. I'm not mocking the man, but you have these incredibly tragic events, which many people need to be held accountable for. That can't be brushed under the rug.
No.
Well, they're just negligent idiots. And, this is just the way government is. It's just a bunch of negligent idiots. And so we just chalk this up to, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. All of that is troubling. But in my opinion, what's far more troubling And this, okay, I'm going to preface this. If all of these people in the stands were real human beings and they weren't like, this wasn't a LARP or these weren't paid actors, and I'm not saying they were, but all I'm saying is you had gunfire.
Correct.
You had the president, something happened to him. Okay, let's say at the exact split second, you didn't know that he was grazed with a bullet and he goes to the ground. And then within either prior to that second or immediately after that second, 3 people get hit with gunfire.
Correct.
1 man, brain matter goes, 2 other people critically injured.
Yeah.
And you have people sitting there with their phone,
still
continuing to film,
still sitting up or standing up,
and not moving. And then
it's incredible.
And the thing is once the Secret Service react, okay, then if you're remotely intelligent, oh, somebody just shot at the president.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened. This wasn't
down.
And
like
everybody sits there.
Yeah.
And then there's this, if you go back and watch the footage, I don't know if there was a movie, I can't remember what movie it was, but Rob Schneider played this like dirty Spanish character. And look, I didn't write the script and I didn't make him play the character, but, and he goes, "You can do it." Right. And there's this guy in the crowd, right dead smack center. And he looks incredibly.
You mean the homeless guy?
Yeah. He looks incredibly dirty and, long unkept hair.
He's a shady character.
He looked dirty. He looked homeless.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's sitting there filming with his camera. And it's the most bizarre made for TV, whatever, like prop. There was a lot of that too. And like I said, I'm not going to go all conspiratard on this, but there's so
much crazy stuff.
And then what's more peculiar than the homeless guy sitting there, because the other way that I completely understand these events is when you are that close to the president, you are completely vetted, background checked, all that stuff. Yeah. And I am almost certain that this kind of stuff happens at rallies too. So all of those people in that bleacher directly behind the president, like the homeless guy, was vetted. So I'm like, so it's not like you crawled out of your cardboard box and crawled up there with your, $1,500.
You can see him if you go on to Redacted's channel. You'll see him. Yeah,
it's very strange, and that's not to make fun of that guy either. But I'm just telling you,
it's weird.
He was incredibly out of place, and I'm not trying to inculcate him into what happened.
No,
but he did kind of look like a prop, like he was paid to sit there. And that was weird. That's all I'm saying. But what was more weird than that is the large majority of people that sat there or stood there and filmed and stood up.
Yeah. I think people are so disconnected nowadays and they're on these stupid phones so long that they,
like when you go to the fireworks and nobody's looking at the fireworks, but everybody's
that was sad this 4th of July. There was a lot of people watching the fireworks or whatever, but all the young kids, like literally not watching the fireworks, but like had to watch the fireworks through their phone or just like looking down at their phone the whole time.
It's a social commentary. And, I definitely took that away as, as tragic and as sad between the loss of life and, an assassination attempt of anybody, is terrible. And then, there's a lot of
factors,
things that don't make sense. A lot of things I can't wrap my head around. And, that doesn't really make it one way or another. I just wanted to comment on it because these are the questions that I'm trying to answer in my mind that maybe through the course of the next couple of weeks. Now, here's another thing here's one thing that I hope that doesn't happen that I do think probably will happen is I think maybe in this whole solidarity movement, there is going to be a call for gun reform. And that wouldn't surprise me. And that wouldn't.
Dude, we didn't even talk about the biggest thing. Well, not the biggest thing, but another gigantic thing that jumped out too. And this, I don't know, y'all, but this really is weird too, is another red flag. the shooter supposedly had a Demolition Ranch t-shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Either a t-shirt or a hoodie. And I don't know, when I heard that, it just seemed like a red herring. Like, it just seemed like weird. It was really, really, I was like,
Well,
is that too
especially
good to be true? Like,
yeah, especially if you don't know what the demolition is, it would be really easy to be like, oh yeah, this guy's one of these
sure.
3% of militia guys. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And versus if you know the context of what it is, it's incredibly benign.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. One, that he would have the t-shirt on. Two, with his background and what he's been recorded as saying,
Yeah.
that t-shirt doesn't make sense that he would only be wearing that t-shirt.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So it really makes you think that I don't know. It's just one.
Yeah.
It's just another one of these bizarre things, you know. And after a while, you can only chalk so many things up to coincidental, and you know,
I know.
and it's just, you know, and the way we always talk, who, what, when, where, why.
Yeah.
You know, key bono, who benefits. Like, just, you know, look at it, gather as much information, draw a logical, rational conclusion, if there is one, and sometimes there's not. So the one bad thing that I think is going to come out of this from conservatives is I think there's going to be a lot more talk about gun control.
Sure.
And, you know, and I think there should be a lot of talk about mental illness and SSRIs. And hey, here's what we personally know. Half of everybody we know is on psych meds.
Yeah.
If I start counting down lists and everybody that's
It's
on happy
sad.
pills and Wellbutrin and this, that, and the other, it's half of everybody we know. And the other half of everybody we know is on every other pharmacological agent, whether it's, you know, statins and all these other things that affect your mind. Okay. And they affect your blood-brain barrier and the fat content, then what keeps your mind pliable and healthy. And so that whole gun control thing is going to, unfortunately, probably happen. Maybe it won't. But I really think that will probably be a result of this. And
possibly
the other thing that I think has to happen, Donald Trump promised to release the JFK files, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he did. He promised to do a lot of things that he didn't do. Okay, so then he didn't do it, and you know, supposedly the talking points always comes back to, well, this is a matter of national security, and that's why these things never get unsealed, right? Well, now supposedly this same exact coup or whatever you want to call it, this exact same thing happened to you. So if this really happened to you, and in your heart of hearts, you know that, why wouldn't you want to rip the face off of the JFK thing and release the documents and let the chips fall where they may?
Yeah.
What are you worried about? Somebody assassinating you?
Yeah.
Like now, look, if you're honestly, if this is going to be a real assassination attempt against your life, right? And then, well, he's not going to do that because, you know, they'll smoke him. Well, supposedly they already tried that.
Sure.
And supposedly you're Teflon Don and all this stuff, and you're going to fight. And like I said, I'm not discounting that stuff.
Sure.
And maybe it really happened the way we're being explained to happen. But if that is the case, then you have to release all the JFK documents, because now you're that guy. What would JFK do if he survived? You know, and in turn, RFK Jr. really should support Donald Trump, and they should do Wonder Team Powers Activate. You know, and really he should be the VP, and then you'd have this super Wonder Twin Powers Activate, and we're going to tell everybody who killed JFK. We're going to drain the swamp, and we're going to reduce inflation, and we're going to end the Fed and do all these other things that nobody wants to do and nobody will ever do. And if we never do it, you know, nothing will get better. If you don't cancel the bankers, man, it's just going to continue to get deeper and deeper. But is there anything else?
That's it. We spent 30 minutes talking.
That's it on the Trump thing.
There you go.
And I wanted,
we're getting off the Trump train.
I want to do our main topics first, because I know other people aren't interested in some of our other segments. So we're going to continue to tweak and meddle with our format to get you all the optimal what you want. Because I mean, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
We're
here to please. So
we give people what they want.
Yeah.
So now, do we want to jump into the other topic, or do you want to hit a segment, or what do you want to do, Matt?
Yeah, well, before we get into it, we'll do the other main topic, but before we do, just wanted to announce something real quick to y'all. Anybody that is around the Northeast Texas area, around Mount Pleasant, Texas, we are going to be having a cow available this month within a couple weeks. So if anybody is interested in that, go ahead and email us at countrytexasboys@gmail.com. We already have one person that is interested in getting half.
I think a half, but
around a half, maybe.
Nobody has secured a quarter, a half, or anything. So
yeah,
it's first come, first serve. We have 4 quarters available.
Are those on the website?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna update, make sure those are available on the website. We are fully revamping the website too. So that's going to be a little bit tricky because we only have PayPal for right now. But anyway, if you are interested, nevertheless, if you are interested in getting a cow and you are serious about that, we sell wholes, halves, and quarters. We have one cow that is going to the butcher, and it is grass-fed and grain finished. And yeah, so if you are interested and you are within driving distance of Mount Pleasant, Texas, go ahead and give us a holler over at countrytexasboys@gmail.com, and we'll give you all the info as soon as you email us over there. So I think that's it. And I would shout out the texasboys.com, but it's still under repair.
The new website will be up hopefully within 30 days.
Awesome.
So we're working on it.
Yep.
It's not cheap,
no,
but we're working on it. And thank you for your continued support.
Yep. For the couple people that have ordered, definitely appreciate it. We've been trying to get y'all's orders out. And yeah, I think we can move on to the next thing.
All right. So I'm going to pull this up right here. And some people may be up to speed on this and some people might not be.
Because of all the crazy that's happening.
Our food chain and food supply continues to be under attack. And this was a raw dairy co-op in Michigan, Nourish Co-op. They had to dump over $90,000 worth of product. Now, this co-op is a collaborative of many local family-owned dairies and micro dairies. And this is basically, this co-op is where all of these different families sell their goods. So it's kind of like a hub. So this affected a lot of families and a lot of local, small. This comes from getrawmilk.com. Nourish Cooperative was ordered to destroy their raw milk, raw butter, and other raw dairy products in their inventory by the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development due to licensing issues. So these other attacks that we've documented, like Amos Miller, these were FDA, so these were federal issues. This is a local state issue. And we see, why was Nourish Cooperative ordered to dump their raw milk? Michigan is a herd share state. Consumers must buy into a private member association to acquire raw milk and raw dairy products from producers. Nourish Cooperative was selling raw milk to their members under a feed license. Their raw dairy products were labeled as pet food. Now, we talk about status jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And one of the things that Jack Spirko always talks about is status jiu-jitsu. And he points to the state of Virginia, where they did this effectively. And my only contention to status jiu-jitsu is when they want to nail you to the wall with their 80,000 trillion regulations, they do it. Even if you are properly operating in a status jiu-jitsu fashion, even if you have a PMA set up and it's set up right, when they want to be totalitarian dictator
turds,
scumbags, they do it, and that's what happened here. Their raw dairy products were labeled as pet food, a common distribution venue in other jurisdictions, but the state of Michigan claims this is not allowed under its feed licensing regulations. A cease and desist order was issued on May 28th. On July 3rd, 2024, the co-op was ordered to destroy thousands of dollars worth of raw milk, raw butter, raw cheese, and more under the MDARD's observance. This is a state-level action carried out by the state of Michigan, not federal. While the state has ordered an increase in biosecurity, listen to the buzzwords, biosecurity. You're going to see this biosecurity stuff with this whole bird flu that's crossing over into cows because they want to, so biosecurity efforts by all dairy farms due to bird flu. No connection to this order has been identified. Hypothetically, this action might be the result of one or more agents with MDARD attempting to shut down Nourish Cooperative in a roundabout way as a result of heightened bird flu anxiety. And there's been much speculation regarding this. Now, remember when we talked about mental illness, if there is a heightened bird flu anxiety, that is from mental illness. That's from people that aren't eating whole foods and raw milk and meat and other things that are very good for your brain. Okay. There's been much speculation regarding this. Given the media hype, this assumption is understandable. We currently have no evidence that this is the case. The co-op began operations last year. It makes the most sense. It makes the most sense that a year or so is how long it would take MDARD to become aware of the farm, investigate their use of the feed license, determine that its use is outside the state's realm of permitted use, order them to cease and desist, and order the destruction of this inappropriate food. Needless waste over petty technicalities. We have no reason to believe this food was produced under any different of standard than if they were distributing through a herd share. As seen in the video, tons of good food was destroyed due to improperly structured paperwork. They asked the state if they could keep the food for themselves, but the state of Michigan denied this request, nor could they give the food away or restructure this inventory under a PMA, private membership association. Nourish Cooperative claims to have lost $90,000 in damages to the inventory due to this regulatory action. If you'd like to help pad their losses while they reorganize their product with legal guidance, you can find their campaign at Give, Send, to Go. We're going to link their Give, Send, Go in the description. The other thing we're going to do is I'm going to go to their Give, Send, Go right now and read the update.
Okay.
So we have the June 6th update. So this was update number 1. All raw cheeses, raw honey, pork lard have been released for sale and removed from the cease and desist. Sourdough products will be available for sale in 1 or 2 weeks. MDARD is trying to tell Nourish Cooperative that it's illegal to sell other raw dairy products like raw milk and raw butter for pet consumption. We have lawyers actively researching this and preparing a court hearing. Okay, so then there was another update. So there was 2 more updates on July 5th.
Update number 2.
On Thursday, June 13th, MDARD finally was able to get 2 inspectors to the property to witness the product disposal. After several email requests, business must go on. Hillary and the other inspector, Christopher, the lead feed inspector at MDARD, showed up at the farm at 2:30 p.m. Their job was to witness the destruction of the raw dairy products in our fridges. We asked Christopher and Hillary whether we could keep some of the products for personal use and dump the rest into a large bin so that we could feed it to our animals. They called an unknown connection at MDARD who denied this request. There was no reason provided. The product had to be thrown into the dumpster. But as government employees, they can't throw anything away. So they forced us to do it. The first step was to get a count on all the products in the fridge under seizure to ensure that none of the products had been used or sold since their last visit. All products were removed from the fridge and then counted. Once all products were accounted for, it was time to discard them in the dumpster, and we couldn't put the jars in the dumpster. The required process involved taking off all the lids of each product, throwing the lids away, stacking the products into cardboard boxes, and then utilizing the tractor forks to move over 20 5 large cardboard boxes to the dumpster. The lids were removed from the jars to ensure the product would spill
Yep.
into the dumpster
Because they
and
wouldn't
thus
want them to pick it up.
not be able to pick it out afterwards and utilized. The glass shattered. The glass shattering would have taken care of this regardless, as that created quite a safety hazard. Once all the products had been discarded, Christopher documented a few pictures of the dumpster, and Hillary recommended we ask the dumpster service to come sooner. Otherwise, it may really start to smell. Oh, thanks,
Like her.
Hillary.
There you go.
Then the 2 inspectors, they're just trying to keep everybody safe. They're just doing their job. The 2 inspectors left the farm. Hillary and Christopher, to their credit, were very cordial during the visit. After all, they were just doing their job. I knew it was good. They're just doing their job under the current MDARD policies. Sarah Armstrong recorded all the videos and was a witness to the food destruction. She described her mix of emotions from the day as disheartened, sickened, disgusted, angered, saddened, and repulsed. So I think Dr. Mercola did a summary on that. But, you know, these statist goons that are just doing their job and they destroy people's lives and destroy perfectly good food. They should not get a pass by anyone for just doing their job. There was lots of people that tried to use that in international courts, and that didn't work as a defense in international for international war crimes. Just doing your job is not a defense. So update 3 on July 5th. The next round of raw dairy destruction took place on Wednesday, July 3rd at Nourish Co-op, with almost all the remaining cease and desist products forced to be thrown in the dumpster. The government officials involved were unwilling to throw out the product themselves, forcing our employees on the clock to spend over 4 hours packing up the product, transferring it to the dumpster, then taking off lids and caps and tossing it into the dumpster upon their inspection. Each product tossed was counted to ensure no products placed under seizure were used or sold. So, and they have the clips here on their Give, Send, Go where you can watch all that awesome stuff happen. And once again, the small local farmer is under attack, and we cannot allow these regulatory bodies, nor can we allow employees of these regulatory bodies to just function as normal. And look, my job is to keep people safe, and I'm just doing my job. Like that does not cut it. And really, these people should get an honest job delivering pizzas and leave innocent farmers alone that are just trying to provide a high quality product. And in the age of conformed consent, when people know what they're doing and they're making educated decision on how to feed themselves and how to treat illness and nourish themselves, they should be allowed to do so unmolested by the feds or the state. And states need to do more to protect their own citizens' rights. And one of the best things they could do is shrink the state administration by about 98%. And that could be said of the federal government as well. Shrink it about 99.9%, and everything would be 1,000% better. But yeah, we will link the Give, Send, Go. Currently, they have raised about 78,000 of the 90 that they're trying to raise. You know, they have, of course, legal fees and all this stuff as they try to battle this out. But encourage them. I think they have established their PMA. So if you're local and you want to join that, I think they might have even capped their PMA now because there was such a massive response. Yeah. But check that out. Once again, farmers are under attack, and it's just bizarre, y'all. It's just bizarre. We're nothing, and you know we get debanked, and now we're trying to handle all that. And then yesterday, our YouTube got completely demonetized. Yeah. Supposedly for animal cruelty. Yeah. So food for thought, something to think about. I don't really know how that works, but then again, I'm not a lizard person. Maybe if I was a lizard person, maybe at some point in time we kicked a lizard or something like that. I'm not sure, but Maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we're completely demonetized for anybody that ever complained about ads being in any of our videos.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the case. So if you do see an ad, please comment down below, let us know, because we are completely demonetized. And because of that fact, we do want to encourage you to go to thetexasboys.com, support us over there if and when you can. I realize we can only process through PayPal at this present second. We're spending lots of money to fix that. And we're going to get it fixed in like 30 or so days. But I think, did you have any other thing that you wanted to comment on the co-op deal, or?
Not really. It's just crazy.
Just speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does really. It just speaks for itself, and just how much sway the government has, you know. And
yeah, ranchers are getting their water rights messed with in Idaho. I mean, every state, our food system is completely under attack.
I just love, it's just classic government overreach when they're like, oh yeah, no, like, you know, oh, you can't sell it, and we want you to throw it all away. Oh, but we're not going to throw it away. You have to throw it away.
Yeah, that's just
classic.
So
classic.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, at the bare minimum, you couldn't like waste your time and like do it. No, we have to waste your time as well too. Like,
yeah, even though we're supposedly public servants and we're on the tax payroll, and you literally pay our salaries, no, you have to do that. So not only do you lose,
you pay your employees,
not only do you lose
to
$90,000
your
of
own
inventory,
product,
now you have to pay all your people by the hour so that we can stand here
for 4 hours
with our bloated waistlines and our swollen heads from our terribly malnourished brains that make it justifiable for us to come here and harass you and to harass and collect. And then we can go home at night and sleep at night thinking that we did something besides, you know, lay sideways in the public trough.
That's why they made happy pills, y'all,
and suck up the payroll. Yeah, and then you compensate by taking your Wellbutrin and your Xanax.
I promise you.
And the next thing you know, you're whoever the supposed lone gunman was, and of course he has 3 names, like Mark Coke Miller something. It's always
his last name's Crooks.
Yeah. Mark Miller Crooks or something, and it's always got to be like some ultra honky dude too. It's like super honky, you know?
So honky. It's so hilarious. They all look the same, which is kind of weird. Like all these shooters look the same. It's weird.
Super cracker. All right, super cracker. Okay, so of course. Yeah, of course.
Oh my goodness.
All right, y'all. Well, you know what we need right now? We need a verse of the day. I think we need to regroup with the verse of the day. Verse of the day is actually 3 verses, y'all. That we need a verse of the day so bad. I'm going to read 3 verses to y'all. This comes from Psalms 4. 1 through Psalm 1, 4 through 6. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. So take heart, y'all. The way of the ungodly shall perish. Jesus is coming back to take vengeance upon the wicked and to set all things right. And hopefully, Carolyn and Richard, whoever this other stooge bot was, hopefully they get right and get things straightened out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. You can't just, well, it's my job. I'm just doing my job. That doesn't work. Doesn't cut it. And, and this also speaks to these overarching topics like Trump and the coup and the assassination attempt and, MK Ultra, all these things. God's in control. The Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. So there you go. That's your verses of the day.
There you go.
Hope that edifies you and exhorts you.
Yeah. Good.
Maybe admonishes you if you need it. We all need that. So that's the verse of the day. And then what do you want to do around the farm?
Yeah, we could do around farm.
So what's going on
around the farm? Oh, Me and James were finishing up a job for a neighbor, bathroom renovation.
A neighbor and a subscriber.
Neighbor and a subscriber. He possibly might be listening to this podcast. I don't know.
Is.
Anyway, you know who you are. And we got done doing his bathroom. Turned out amazing. Got it pretty stinking good for how out of level and not square that bathroom was. We gave it our best. We gave it the old college try, and it ended up looking very, very beautiful. And anyway, so we're finishing up, doing the last finishing touches on there, and James is always has his head on a swivel when it comes to deals and buying stuff and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, look at this horse trailer." Like, you know, that's how it is. It's almost every day. Hey, look at this horse trailer. That looks like a good deal. And most of the time, it's like, yeah, that's a reasonable price, but it's not like a good deal. Like, I'm interested. It's like, yeah, you know, but I don't need it for that price, you know. So anyway, he showed it to me, and I was like, dude, that's sweet. And yeah, it was they wanted $2,000, and it's called a Weekender horse trailer. And it has a bed in there, the AC works and all this stuff. And he sent us photos of the inside because it has the front sleeper, and then it has the back. The thing's 26 feet long, and then the back, like maybe a little bit, maybe like 18 foot in the back is for the horses and everything like that, or you could haul cows in it. And then the front half's for like has a sleeper. And I was like, dude, that thing is sweet. So anyway, so I'm like, if it is what they're saying, I'm like, that would be a super sweet deal right now, because right now trailers have went up in price. Like, you know, it's kind of really tricky to find trailers for less than $4,000. Anyway, so we went out there, and it was a young couple that had it, and they only had one horse that they were rodeoing with and everything like that. And they just bought a brand new bumper pull. And yeah, so we picked up a really good trailer, had brand new tires on it. You know, needs a couple little things done. The inside, the sleeper Weekender cab, just needs some insulation put in it to keep all of the heat out of it. The AC does work. We're going to rip out, it has some like carpet on the floor. We're going to rip that out, put some nice carpet down, going to beadboard the inside of it. All of the boards, deck boards inside the horse trailer part are brand new. Which is great. The roof's solid on it. I think the left light, the grounding has to be connected up a little bit better, but that's trailer lights. Trailer lights are, they will always give you trouble. So I was like, whatever, you know, that comes with trailers. So, and it's a gooseneck. So yeah. Oh, and the trailer brakes work too. So that was big deal that we got. And yeah, very excited about that. And James is always excited to have a new little project to tinker around with. So trying to think. We got a metric ton of rain. We haven't done a podcast, but we got that tropical storm hit us.
Yeah, so we ended up getting 6+ inches of rain.
What was that 10. Thing called?
Burl
or something. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so yeah, we got a lot of rain from that.
Precious
stone. Yes. And anyway, yeah, everybody's been haying like crazy. We'll definitely be getting probably about another month. We'll go ahead and get another cut of hay from at least one pasture.
The fruit trees are ripening. We're getting peaches. So if you have food for us in a box, we've been getting that white cling-free peach, the Texas white peach, which is spectacular again this year, except for it was an incredibly large tree and it cracked in half. So I'm going to have to but the fruit's still on it and it's ripening. So once that ripens, I'm going to trim that. There's a lot of figs ripening right now. Chicago Hardy, Salem Dark, LSU Tiger, a bunch of unknowns. A lot of them are drying on the tree, which is incredible. Like, it's
just shriveling up.
Yeah. So they're spectacular because not only do they fully ripen, like the LSU Tiger is drying on the tree.
Like in a good way, you're saying?
Yeah, in a good way. Okay. So yeah, it's incredible.
Awesome.
It's very interesting. It's a great year. I knew this year would be a great year for fruit crop. So that's my only deviation from the carnivore diet is
a little bit of figs
eating the seasonal fruit.
Yeah.
The Primark blackberry has been great this year, and the figs are great this year. The peaches are great this year. Looks like we're going to have a pretty good pear. We got hit pretty hard with a pear blight.
Yeah.
Even the Asian pears got hit, which is really strange.
Yeah,
to
it's
me,
weird.
but
It's weird.
every year it's a little bit different. So you always got to vary your species and stagger your ripening dates and all these different things, so that way you get some type of consistency.
Yeah.
And so that's what's going on around the farm.
Yep. And then we could just go into health check.
Yeah. So what's your
health check? Doing good. I'm not out and about as much as you are, but you were saying that a lot of people have been getting sick with
A
like
lot of people
stomach viruses
sick.
or something.
Lots of rando stuff.
Yeah.
And
we're still free. We're still healthy and everything.
And
like
the
that,
only thing I
great.
do other than eat only meat once a day, and I eat my seasonal fruit, is I do the Neil Med sinus rinse when I feel like a little like, or if I'm around sick people, I just proactively do that. And I'm right as rain, man.
Cool. Can you say that on the podcast, the Neil Med, or no? That's
yeah.
Okay.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know a new speaky way to say it. So yeah, I guess you can just, mention something that's available over the counter. That's basically sodium bicarbonate and salt that you mix in water. I guess that's okay to say or whatever.
Okay.
But who knows? I mean,
I know
lizard people are in control.
You never know. You never know.
No, that's all.
Yeah. Health check been doing good. Actually found some pretty cheap weights on Amazon. So I ordered, I got 40 new pounds of weight that I've been doing with my Olympic bar. So that's been a lot of fun.
You ordered some new plates?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Got new plates. Yeah, I got 40 new pounds. So now
that's what came in those boxes.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you just ordered a weight sled, right?
And then I just ordered a weight sled. It is the 16th. So it is Prime Day. Didn't know that till this morning. And I was like, wait, it's Prime Day. So anyway, me and Dad have been really liking watching Baker's videos. Sean Baker. Yeah. Sean Baker. I always forget his first name. Sean Baker's video.
Nature, that guy.
And he is straight, like, if you ever wanted to know what a Superman would look like, that guy is like the living Superman.
Yeah,
he's like insane. So anyway, he's always using his weight sled. And I'm like, man, I really want to get a weight sled. And I got quite a bit of weights now. And also with feed, we're always getting feed here on the farm. So we can throw some feed sacks on there too. And just this thing comes with a chest strap, and it has nicer handles. And since it was on Prime Day, I was able to actually get a really nice one for about like 170.
You can drag it or pull it.
Drag it, pull it, push it. Yeah. So it's going to be really cool. Definitely going to want to test that out. Maybe we'll make some shorts about it.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. Yeah. So that'll be coming pretty soon. But yeah, how about you with your health check?
Doing great. Still eating OMADs, eating about a pound of ground beef a day, usually with Swiss cheese, melt a little Swiss cheese on it. I do have a new way of incredibly undercooking my burger. I started doing it in cast iron on butter, but the challenge I would have is to sear the top and the bottom. I would kind of start to burn the butter. So now what I do is I turn the burner on, heat the pan up, melt the butter. Then I put the burgers in and turn it off.
Oh, okay.
So I turn the burner off.
So you first do a preheat.
Yeah, preheat it,
temperature.
Get it up to temp, put the butter in, melt the butter, put the burger in. Then I had the burger in there for like a minute or two, and then I flip it so it's brown already on one side. Then I turn the burner off. And then I let the other side cook. And then I put the cheese on the top. And then what I might do is I kind of eyeball it. And sometimes you got to turn the butter back. You got to turn the burner back on just so that it starts to, the butter starts to roll boil again. And then you turn it off. And then you have just enough heat. You put a lid on it. The cheese melts. And it is incredibly medium rare in the center. with just a hint of cooked around the edges. And then you put the burgers on your plate, and then you pour all the butter back on top of the burgers. And it is out of this world, incredibly good. And I've been eating 1 pound of burger a day like that for the last 60 days or so. And I'm not tired of it yet. And I'm clicking on all cylinders.
That's awesome.
Oh, huge update. Check this out. So, and I used to be incredibly lean. I was really skinny and little coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went from about, when I went full meathead, I went from about 135 to, at my biggest, I was like, at my biggest, I was, I was like almost, I was in the 180 somewhere right there.
Okay.
So I went from 135 to 180. You know, right now I'm probably like 163. I've lost a lot of size, but because of the size of my legs, even when I was incredibly thin, I always wore 32-inch pants or shorts because of my quads. I wanted the legs to feel loose. I've never been into these like gay skinny jeans or tight jeans or anything like that.
Yeah.
And
or tight shorts.
Yeah, or tight shorts.
Yeah.
Any of that. None of those Bill Lambier coochie cutters. None of those Daisy Dukes for men or anything like that. So all of my pants and shorts, I'm like, man, I'm putting this belt on, and so my wife's like, why don't I just buy you some 30s? So she bought me 2 pairs of oversized cargo shorts. I only like certain clothes, y'all. But she ordered me size 30 waist, and they fit, and they're not tight. They're loose at the waist. So I can't remember the last time I had a 30-inch waist, but yeah, I have a 30-inch waist, and that kind of just happened. That's just happened over the last 6 months or so.
I saw that you were trying out your what do they call those? Your stimulus.
My E-stim. Now that my shoulder continues to improve, now I'm doing E-stim on it just as an exercise routine. I'm still doing the pool exercises. They're going great. I'm still improving. So, this is what I hear the more I interview carnivore people, and we're going to continue to have more interviews and hopefully a lot more carnivore interviews, because I want to keep documenting this for people. Everything that I see is, it takes you a very long time to get ill and sick. I mean, sometimes you can do it really quickly. If you're very proficient at making yourself sick, you can do it quickly. If you've done it over the course of a time through something that was seemingly positive, like a plant-based diet, which is what a lot of people have done, you make yourself very sick very slowly.
Yes.
And when you do that, as you're healing, it's going to take a very long period of time to heal all the way. So what I'm noticing and what other people are noticing is that even after they've started eating this way for an extended period of time, sometimes it's 2 or 3 or 4 years, they're still seeing a progression in health, freedom of range and motion, and all these different things. And that's what I'm experiencing.
That's awesome. That's great.
So it's very encouraging, and it's just reinforcing the fact, like, just keep doing this, keep feeling better. You keep, looking better, and, you're achieving your goals and different things. So it's I cannot encourage any of y'all enough. Try for 2 weeks, do it for real, be serious about it, and then analyze the results. It's all about who, what, when, where, and why. It's all about logic, ration, and reason. Experiment, try it. If it works, continue to do it till it doesn't work.
And when you do it, don't try to sabotage it to then be like, oh, well, I tried it and it didn't work.
Right.
Actually do
Lots
it.
of people do that.
Yeah. But all right. I think that's it.
Well, y'all, it's been another great podcast. Hope you enjoyed the new format. Comment down below. Hey, give us a 5-star review on whether it's Spotify or Apple. I think that's where we're getting the most downloads. Share share it with your friends. Yeah, we get the most on Apple,
Really?
second most on
Cool.
Spotify,
Awesome.
third most on other. So if
Hmm.
you're listening on other, y'all, please leave a review. No, I don't know what other is, y'all, but
Other. That seems like some type of
Other.
pronoun thing.
that's like a ZZ or Zim thing, I think. And we didn't even get to talk about half of the Social Security, half of the Secret Service being women.
Well, yeah.
But we're not going to start that right
No,
now.
we're not.
But
I mentioned it a little
interesting,
bit in there.
interesting times, y'all.
Yep.
Interesting times we live in. Remember, y'all, stay fearless, my friends.